Well, Marina, I think that the name that everybody was most surprised to hear on Oscar nomination morning was yours. So suffice to say, what did you think when you heard your name announced as a nominee for Best Supporting Actress for Roma?
I think I was the most surprised of it, of all. I was not expecting it at all. I was expecting that or hoping that Roma could get some nominations in other categories, but I really was not expecting one for me. I the first thing I can say is that I am really grateful because I think that Sofia is a character that you have to look at. She doesn't pop out immediately like the first time you see the film. She's like really not in the surface, even though I really think she goes through a very powerful emotional journey, but it's subtle. So I'm grateful that they took the time to look at her.
Yeah, and I mean, you talk about the character of Sophia. Tell us just a little bit about how you first became involved and what Alfonso told you about this character. Because from what I understand, you didn't really give out a script for this to too many people.
No, he did not give us a script. He was he we had a long conversation of who Sofia was, or to say it better, who Cristina was, that his mother, and he talked a lot about her, about where their kids were born, what was going on in their marriage, when did Libo, which is the real Cleo, enter their lives, how the relationship was. But then he stopped right at the moment where day one of the film starts. And then from then on, it was really just about surrendering yourself to what he would say day by day and trusting that the character was within you and that you somehow we understood it, and just like giving your emotions to the character and trusting every step of the way, Alfonso.
So when Alfonso tells you you're playing my mother in this movie, does that put any kind of extra pressure on you? I mean, what did you think about that?
Well, I really wasn't thinking that it was his mother because that really wouldn't help at all. I immediately felt that I could really relate to the character because of my own memories, because of who I was, because of what I had been through in my life as a daughter and then as a woman and as a mother. So I really that thought that it was Alfonso's mother. I kept it always away because that really wouldn't help. I was really all the time, I tried all the time to listen to every single word that Alfonso would say, like to absorb it all. I was mostly quiet when he spoke with me, like just trying to absorb everything I could sense of the way he talked about what he wanted to me to embrace for Sophia's emotional journey.
It's such an interesting relationship between you and Cleo, the character that's played by Yalitza Aparicio. Can you talk a bit about that dynamic between the two of them?
It's really interesting. I always think that I don't even have the word to describe that relationship because it has so many layers. In the first hand, they are employer employee. There's a job relationship that involves in money, and it's like she works for her, but at the same time she is the silent witness of all her sorrow. She's always there, and that's why when Sophia is like overwhelmed with pain, she throws at her all her frustration, and at the same time they share the most important thing in life for a woman, that is their children. And she trusts her and with her children, and at some point of the film she realizes that she is the really accomplice in life whom she will share motherhood with, and she also realizes what she as a mother has been going through, because sometimes we know things but we don't know them with capital letters, like in a very conscious way. And I think that's what Sophia really understands at the end, in the beach scene, for example, who is the real woman that is gonna be there for her and for her children, and what she has gone through as a woman and as a mother also.
Right, and I mean their relationship ends up changing, just because of circumstances that happened to Sophia with her husband and, the father of her children. Talk a little bit about, that dynamic and how that affects Sophia.
I think Sophia and Alfonso and I really worked with this, is going through a lot of pain, but she really can't show it because she has to be the strong one for her children. And somehow this sometimes when she shows what she's going through, is because she just can't get hold of it anymore. It's sort of an accident, and then it goes out with such rage and with so strength. But all the time, she's mostly like not holding it. And Alfonso was really interested in that. I will never like have it on the surface. Sometimes I would have like this lots of emotions come to me, and then he would say like, no, go to your room, to the character's room, because and cry it all out, throw it all out, and come back, and I want you to hold it down. It has to be down always, because Sophia won't allow herself to show her children all the pain that she's going through.
Right. And one of the great qualities of this movie is that, information about, what's going on in your life and what's going on with your husband, we get that information in a very subtle kind of way. It's like we get little snatches of information, and we have to, like, as an audience, put the pieces together in our own mind of, oh, okay, so that's what's going on here. Like, that's a really great quality of the movie, that we have to work for it.
Exactly. Yes. In fact, there are lots of things that I know, like for example, in the first scene when Sophia enters where they're having lunch, she just comes back from work. I know that, and she knows that her husband is leaving and that something is going on with another woman. But those things are only the characters know it. And then if you see it again and you focus, you see, oh, now I understand why she's behaving like that.
Right. So considering that you never got a full script, tell us a little bit about the day to day and, showing up and just being given little, how did that work?
Well, there were some days when I would get the lines the night before, just like 3 days that I think that happened, when there's like long dialogues, but they would never be complete. I would never have the words of the other character there, only mine. And there was always lacking some important information that Alfonso would give us at the very moment to memorize right there. So he just wanted us to have like the skeleton of the scene, just to don't have like memory problems at the very moment. But mostly we would arrive on set not knowing what we were going to do, and when we were there, he had already done all his cinematographer work with standings, so we wouldn't have to rehearse, because he didn't want us to be mechanic about anything. So he would know exactly what the camera was going to do. He will never tell us that. We were never supposed to be aware of the camera, and he will give us the lines. He would explain what was going on. He would always talk individually to each actor, never together. And then he would just like put it together and see what would happen. And then, of course, we would repeat. There's some scenes we did like 64 times, and there's others that we only did 3 times. It was never regular. It was, he would know if he had the scene, and he would say, we'll stop here, I have it, or not. Or we would keep on going. And if we kept on going, he would always change things. And the other characters would always do something unexpected, like stand up and leave, or the kid will throw the glass in the table, or say something that I wasn't expecting, so that we could like react at the very moment in a spontaneous way. But also I knew, as an actress, I had to get to the end of the scene and to the dialogue he had given me. So it was like there was a very small space in between of improv, which is not really improv, but it's reacting to the unexpected.
Right. I mean, and from what I understand, you guys pretty much shot this movie in continuity, meaning, you shot the first scene on the first day and the last scene on the last day. Did that help in, I guess, creating an arc for this character?
Totally. I mean, this is what we all do. Like when we read a script, that's what we study, the arc of the character, and we don't know if we're gonna do like the last scene on the third day of shooting, and so we need to really know where the character is at every moment, no, because that's how movies are done. But here we had the opportunity to really go through it day by day. So when we got to the end, it was really the getting there in a natural way. Like sometimes for me, I've done films where when I get to the end, I do the end like at the third week, and then at the end I would say, "Oh my God, if I had known before all the emotional journey of my character, maybe I wouldn't have done the end like that, or maybe I would." But here, like, there was not such a kind of work, no intellectual work, not a like preconceiving a scene or imagining even how you would solve it. It was really surrendering to the scene day by day.
Right. I remember hearing him talk about one scene in particular. I forget which one it was, but basically, like, you're having some kind of confrontation with your child where you're trying to like get him to do something, and he told you, "All right, you're gonna tell him go to bed or something," and then he goes and tells the kid, "You're not going to go to bed," and then change up the scene the next moment or something like that. I mean, is there a moment from the set that really sticks with you where that kind of spontaneity helped create a moment that you weren't expecting?
Well, there are quite a few. For example, that I think what Alfonso is talking about is the scene where Sofia asks the children to write a letter for their dad.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
And then he would. That scene is the one that I tell you we did 64 times,
Oh, wow.
and every time it was different. And in that, I think in the one that finally is in the film, the kid just stood up and walked away. And he had told me that that relationship between that particular son, which is the oldest, is complex because he looks like his father, his name is the same as the father, and he's really mad with her mom, with his mom, because he thinks that she is the one to blame because that is not home. And also Sofia has the same feeling. So he would build the relationship and say contradictory information to each character. So when we were together there, that would pop out. So when he stood up, all my rage came like, don't, you sit down immediately. But that has all the other information that he had given me about how that relationship is at that moment.
Thank you for picking that scene out of my brain is just starting to work and it flew right out of my mind. Um, the awards run up for this movie has been really spectacular. You guys premiere at Venice, you get all this buzz, and now you're the most nominated film of the year, tied with The Favorite, 10 nominations. Were you surprised by the overwhelming recognition for this movie?
Yes, I was. I mean, I could sense it was beautiful when we were doing it. I could see that it came from a very deep place in Alfonso's heart, and also being the talented director he is, and that he was doing everything, the cinematography, producing, writing, and I could really relate to it. But I didn't know if I could relate to it because I because it also matched with my memories, with my country. So for me it was really special, but I didn't know if it was going to be that special for the audience, if they were going to think it was local or black and white, slow Spanish. And suddenly from Venice, that standing ovation that was so long, and then Telluride and all the film festivals, and suddenly people would approach us, talk about their lives, talk about the women that brought them up, cried about their memories. And then is when I realized this is a film that really connects with people in a very remote place of their lives. So that's like why I think is so special, because we were all children and we all lost something at one point of our lives when we were children, and we all have someone to say thank you to.
Yeah, I think one of the extraordinary qualities of this movie is that even though it's very specific in its time and its place and its experiences, it feels so universal. anybody can watch it and see their own mother or their own childhood, or in the case of Cleo, that person who was not related to their family directly, but had an incredible impact on their family and on their lives. So I think that's a beautiful quality of this movie.
Yes, and I think that it was about time that someone would turn around and look to these incredible women that are in so many lives and that have made a real difference, and that they don't have been acknowledged how they should.
Yes. Well, Marina, thank you so much. Congratulations again on the Academy Award nomination. I hope you enjoyed the ceremony.
I'm sure I will. I mean, for me, it's a dream come true. I mean, a dream I didn't even dare to dream. So, yeah.
Well, congratulations. Dreams do come true every so often. So, congratulations. Thank you so much.
Thank you.